Are you interested in simple steps to heal the root cause of your health issues? Whether it's anxiety, depression, insomnia, weight gain, hormonal issues, digestive issues, or any difficult to treat condition? Welcome to Heal Your Body, Cure Your Mind, where you'll get most of the answers for your health concerns and benefit from the latest techniques in naturopathic medicine, functional medicine, and psychotherapy to heal your mind and body together. As a naturopathic doctor, psychotherapist, and best-selling author, I've also created a free ebook and online course for you at drameet.com. That's drameet.com, where you'll get tons of tips to heal your mind, your body, your emotions, your gut, your liver, inflammation, and other things that go wrong in your body. Without further ado, with lots of love to your beautiful heart, here's your podcast for this week.
So hi, and welcome to the Body Confidence Code. Vicky Rolf here to give you some hints and tips on how to be powerful in your own body and live up to your full potential. So today we're talking about how to let go of stress with Dr. Ameet Agarwal, and who is a naturopathic doctor, a psychotherapist, and international teacher and speaker. He has helped thousands of people around the world with his online course, best-selling book, and webinars. So Dr. Ameet, welcome.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Greetings, everyone.
And I'm so happy you're here because we're talking about a very important subject today, is stress. So chronic stress can lead to chronic diseases, including anxiety and depression. But there's a difference between stress, anxiety, and depression. So can you briefly explain to the audience what is the difference between the three of them?
Well, stress, I guess, is a multifunctional word. Stress is something people experience. It's an external source, as well as interpreted as an internal feeling as well. Yeah. So
Yes.
Late nights, job deadlines, fights, everything, those are sources of stress. Yeah. They trigger a feeling in the body of discomfort.
Right.
And that feeling of discomfort then pushes your different organs, your stress organs, mainly the adrenal glands, to respond by producing certain chemicals. Now, this anxiety and depression are like symptoms, I would say. Some people call it diagnoses. I try and shy away from labeling people with diagnoses. So anxiety is can be a result of stress. It can be a result of food sensitivities. It can be a result of hormonal imbalances. So anxieties are symptoms of unease. It can feel very similar to stress because they're quite entangled. Anxiety can also have physical symptoms like palpitations, shortness of breath, yeah, or even worrying too much. Forms of OCD can be termed as anxiety.
Okay.
And depression, I look at it more as like a collapsed state, yeah, in the stress response. So in a way, it's like, how do I say it? When somebody is stressed and they're completely burnt out, they collapse, one. Yeah. And so it's a state of like self-doubt, dark thoughts, intrusive thoughts, possibly low self-esteem, low energy, withdrawal. It's more like the collapsed state of anxiety. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
And both have a bit of a crossover. Anxiety and depression, they both have negative thinking, for example. And some people with anxiety are also prone to a lot of depression, and vice versa.
Okay. And depression can be diagnosed, is diagnosed as a disease, and anxiety as well, but stress is more of a feeling based on a situation.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for explaining that. That's really important.
No problem.
You're welcome. So in your book called Feel Good, Easy Step to Health and Happiness, you explain how someone can improve their happiness, health, peace of mind, and confidence, and cure health issues like sadness, anxiety, depression, adrenal fatigue. So I'm curious to know, what is your approach in curing and recovering from anxiety, depression, and stress with long-lasting results?
Okay, so my book has changed its name. It's called Heal Your Body, Cure Your Mind.
Okay.
And it's actually transformed into an online course that's been approved for continuing education credits for naturopaths and dietitians and nutritionists. So the approach that I use with thousands and thousands of patients is really healing the root cause. Yeah. Is the root cause of somebody's anxiety or depression or mental symptoms a food sensitivity or a trauma, a belief system, a hormonal imbalance, or all of the above? Yeah. We all go through different experiences in our life that leave us shattered or uneasy or compensated in our natural expression of life. We take on behaviors to adjust to society, to fit in. And these adjustments actually contribute to a lower mood or a lack of happiness for many people. So in my book and online course, I teach people how to basically release emotional trauma from the past, and shift their belief system. So when you look at your life, let's say you journal your life, you draw a timeline from birth till present, and you write down all the positive and negative experiences that happen in your life, you will get a perspective of how these things are affecting you. And then if you can write down every single belief that you created, you started believing after a particular incident, you'll get another perspective of how you're compensating your natural flow or expression because of this new belief that you created at that time.
Okay.
And then, of course, that's emotional healing work that I do. And then I combine that, of course, with fixing the body, healing the physiology, the 3 pillars of health. And that is, when you fix these pillars of health, you basically fix the brain chemicals.
Okay. And when you're talking about brain chemicals, can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. So firstly, the 3 pillars of health I find for chronic health issues are the liver, the gut, and the adrenal system.
Okay.
And the brain chemicals are the ones called serotonin, GABA, melatonin, and it's not coming to me right now. It'll come. I've got a neurotransmitter imbalance at the moment. Anyways, dopamine.
Dopamine. Okay.
So basically, an imbalance of brain chemicals contributes to disturbance in mood.
Okay.
Either anxiety, depression, insomnia, intrusive thoughts, OCD, schizophrenia, suicidal thoughts. All these things can come from an imbalance of brain chemicals, strongly related to the physiology of a person, as well as to past emotional experiences of a person. So both need to be healed in order for somebody to get fully well.
Okay.
And so we talked about emotional healing. The next step, of course, is fixing the physiology through fixing 3 pillars of health. The gut, everyone starts with the gut. Yeah, everyone's talking about removing gluten and dairy and all that.
Right.
That's super important because your gut is like a membrane. Yeah, it's a tube with a lining, and that absorbs nutrients and protects your blood and your body from the outside environment in a way, so to speak. Yeah. And because anything entering your mouth and down into your intestines is from the outside environment. And so this gut lining is kept healthy by good bacteria and good food.
Yes.
And over time, with antibiotic use, poor diet, birth control pill, too much alcohol, etc., the good bacteria get killed off, the lining gets damaged, and we get holes in the intestines. And that's known as leaky gut syndrome.
Yes.
And with that, what happens is toxins leak into the bloodstream and cause inflammation everywhere in the body. And that's the leading cause for asthma, eczema, arthritis, a lot of chronic conditions. And chronic inflammation also causes a cortisol imbalance in the body.
Yeah.
And when you have a cortisol imbalance, then serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, and GABA, all your neurotransmitters, they start dropping. So you get anxiety and depression due to inflammation causing a cortisol and brain chemical imbalance, number 1.
And cortisol is known as the stress hormone, just to specify that.
Yes.
But
in the adrenal system.
But are you saying that to have a healthy gut, everybody needs to stop dairy and gluten?
Not everybody. Some people are not sensitive to it. Majority of my patients, I find that when we remove gluten and we remove dairy, they see a lot of health benefits.
Okay.
Yeah. So one can go for a food allergy test. I'm in Africa, so we don't really have advanced food allergy testing here. I just see through clinical experience that by removing these inflammatory foods, symptoms really improve.
Okay.
Yeah, and remember also, a lot of serotonin and neurotransmitters are actually produced in the gut. Now, research is showing by the good bacteria in your gut. And so, if you have too much inflammation and damage and antibiotic use in your that's destroying the good bacteria in your gut, your production of brain chemicals actually goes down.
Okay. Okay. So that affects your mood and everything that you talk about, and affects your brain as well.
Everything. And then most people make the mistake of only fixing the gut and ignoring the other organs. So the second pillar of health is your liver.
Okay.
With chronic inflammation, pesticides in our food, high stress levels, all these things, perfumes, smoke from cars, etc., pollution, our liver is burdened. Our liver is stressed. And what happens is the liver becomes a bit stagnant. In Chinese medicine, we call it liver qi stagnation. And when the liver is stagnant, it produces less bile. It detoxifies the body less.
Okay.
So one is you have a buildup of toxins in the body, creating more inflammation. Number two, when there's less bile being produced, you get less lubrication and less digestion in your gut. So you get more gas, bloating, constipation, a lot of IBS symptoms, a lot of worsening of leaky gut. Okay. So in my book and in my online course, I teach you how to heal the liver. Yeah, and my online course has a lot of remedies specifically for the liver that really help people flush the liver. Because if you don't flush your liver, your leaky gut gets worse. And in Chinese medicine, your liver controls your hormones. So if you have liver qi stagnation, liver energy stagnation, then you get a hormonal imbalance, usually a progesterone deficiency. And that leads to anxiety, sadness, tearfulness, PMS symptoms, all those mood swings we have during our menstrual cycle. So it's really important to heal the liver. And without healing the liver, I think chronic disease just goes on and on and on. And you don't get the best results when you're just doing the diet changes or the gut protocol with probiotics and vitamin D and all those things. You have to heal the liver as well. And I show you how to do all these steps in the online course.
And that's very interesting, because we hear all the time, heal your gut, but we rarely hear about the liver. So I think it's really important. You said there's a third pillar?
The third pillar, especially for mental health, is your adrenal system.
Okay.
So a lot of people have adrenal fatigue. So your adrenal glands are the glands that produce adrenaline, and they respond to stress. They also produce cortisol, which is the stress.
What are these glands?
They're these little glands that sit above your kidneys.
Okay.
And what happens is, now, if you are faced with stress in your life, chronic stress, financial deadlines, work stress, late nights, not enough darkness at night, all these things, your adrenal glands never rest and they burn out, and you go into adrenal burnout or just adrenal fatigue. And when adrenal fatigue happens, they produce cortisol in imbalanced amounts.
Okay.
And when that happens, that causes a brain chemical imbalance, number one. Number two, it suppresses thyroid function. And number three, causes water retention and weight gain. And number four, it actually affects our leaky gut. It makes leaky gut worse. So the whole cycle of inflammation gets worse. And also, the other thing that stresses your adrenal glands is inflammation, because inflammation asks your adrenal glands to produce more cortisol. Yeah. And so when your leaky gut gets worse, your demand for cortisol goes up and adrenal fatigue happens much faster. So two things affect or cause adrenal fatigue. One is inflammation and one is emotional stress.
Okay.
And the third thing, which is related to emotional stress, is unresolved emotions. You see, if you've been traumatized as a child or an adult, these memories stay in your system, in your nervous system. And they continuously stress your body unconsciously or subconsciously. And when you are faced with a present day stress, the new stress triggers the old stress to come back. So you might be hyper aroused or hyper stressed in your adrenal glands from a small stress in your new life, in modern day life. So it's very important to heal the past, heal your emotional resilience, like I like to call it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when you heal any traumas in your past, in your childhood, it could be sexual abuse, it could be parents divorcing, it could be boyfriend breaking up with you, it could be financial issues, it could be an accident, whatever it is. When you heal these feelings surrounding those memories, then you're less triggered. Your adrenal glands are less triggered. So you become more emotionally resilient. You withstand stress better. You burn out less. You have more emotional clarity, mental clarity. You have less hormonal imbalances because your adrenal glands are stronger. A lot of health benefits come from healing your past.
But a lot of people, they kind of suppress or put it at the back of their head what happened in the past, and when you, like, they don't know what happened or what causes this, or so that's when help from a professional is really important to help you go through healing your past as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for people who feel stress every day,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't necessarily know what caused that stress, like what is the past event that is not me causing, but contributing to that stress daily. So what
Mm-hmm.
would be your recommendation um, to reduce the stress daily? What can be done?
Okay. I mean, there's common things to reduce stress is like exercise, breathing techniques, and meditation. Those are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And reducing our workload and sleeping early at night, not at like past midnight. Yeah, try and have the lights out and sleep in a dark room with nothing interfering with darkness. Those are the basic bandage solutions.
Yes.
Now, also what you got, or preventative solutions, I should say. And then now what you got to do is also with a professional or through inquiry, self-inquiry, visit those emotional experiences in your past. And in my book, I teach you how to timeline journal. Yeah, from your birth till your present, writing down certain events in your life, and there's a particular way to write about them that helps release trauma.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I teach you in the online course how to sit with emotional feelings and use your smell, your vision, your senses to connect to these emotions that you're so afraid of connecting with. And by sitting with the feelings in the right way, you get more power over the emotions and you're able to heal from the event much more easily and much more safely. That's the key thing. Some people don't want to face their past because of the vulnerability that comes with it.
Right. Okay.
And so, some of these emotional healing exercises includes journaling, includes tapping, so emotional freedom technique. It includes certain sentences that I teach you about. It includes seeing a therapist as well. Um, prayer also helps, and
Mm-hmm.
being really honest, really being honest with yourself. Instead of saying it doesn't bother me anymore, and you know that you're resentful still, changing your language. I coach people how to use the right language to overcome emotional experiences from the past. So rather than saying it doesn't bother me anymore, I can tell somebody to try and experiment with the words, I'd rather it doesn't bother me, and I'm sitting with something I haven't defined what it is yet. That is a much more powerful statement, yeah, that gets you more in control of your responses than going into bitterness and saying it doesn't bother me anymore. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. And
And
you go ahead.
no, these are important sentences to coach oneself with, yeah, because language determines our reality and our experience. And so by helping people shift their language with themselves, with other people, they become much more empowered, more free, more liberated, more healed from a dark past.
Awesome. And you teach all of that in your online courses. And for the audience, you want to give them a free short course to get them started. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the online course has a lot of the remedies I use for healing leaky gut, liver, adrenal systems, and has a lot of exercises one can do to heal their emotional past. In terms of language coaching, I do that one-to-one on Skype, and there's a few exercises in the online course that help people change their story.
Okay.
So the free gift is basically a small introduction to the online course. There's a few videos I've made that will really give you a nice perspective of how everything in your body is interconnected. So when you sign up at my website, you get a nice little video series. You can watch the videos. There's some explanations. There's interviews as well that you might get in the email sequence that will really enlighten you and give you the tools and a nice guide, I guess. You know what I mean? A very simple guide on how to go
Yes.
forward, because there's so much information out there and it's so confusing.
Yes.
Do you heal the gut first? Do you heal the liver first? What about adrenal work? What about this and that? And it's exhausting, and most
It
people
is.
give up, or they go to Dr. Google and do like half their therapy and feel disappointed because nothing works so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so by having a nice, simple guide in front of you, what are the basic steps to heal the gut? And when do you start the liver? And then, then when do you start introducing adrenal support supplements? And what are the best ones to use rather than just doing this supplement and that supplement, so that your cupboard or your kitchen table is full of just a holistic pharmacy. Right?
Yes. Wonderful.
You want to minimize things by treating the root cause.
Right. Right. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that free gift. Everybody at home, if you want to access that free gift, just click on the link in the email you receive with this interview and you'll have access to it. Dr. Ameet, we're coming to the end of the interview, but before I let you go, I want to ask you one more question. What would be one last piece of advice you would like the listener to take away today?
It will be to love yourself and love yourself in your painful experiences. So find a way of finding love for yourself, no matter what disappointment you face, no matter how disappointed you are with yourself or the world, or what beliefs you created about yourself during a negative experience, because these beliefs that you have about yourself do not belong to you. They belong to society. They belong to indoctrination coming from education, coming from parents' beliefs, coming from brothers, sisters, and society, right? And without those beliefs, you'd be so innocent and you'd still be connected to self-love. So I would say go into self-love more often, yeah, and just peel away these layers of influence, negative influences from society, from family, from parents, from grandparents, from ancestors, and from bullies or negative people or harmful people. Try not to take things so personally, even though no matter how painful it is. Try and get your power back and find love in that journey.
Beautiful, beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you, Dr. Ameet, so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Take care.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody at home, for tuning in the Body Confidence Code. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Remember, you can go deeper in your healing with amazing remedies and therapies covered in your free online course and ebook on drameet.com. That's DRAMEET.com. Lots of love and thank you. God bless.